Hello, YouTube. It's been a long time since I did what it really inspires me. That's making a video that means something. A video that not only has meaning, but one that forces you to think. These videos will actually help you control more of your thoughts instead of doing what most of us do, which is allowing our thoughts to control us. If you think about it, let me see, I guess I made probably 70 some videos, and I very much encourage you to check them out. My two favorite videos are number one, I'll inspire you to be inspired, and number two, discover your life purpose. Definitely check those out if nothing else. Um, those are also the two videos which I receive the most responses from comments, emails. Why? It's simple, really. People had a personal connection, a healthy attachment to those videos, and they proved it by sending me the quality of the letters and responses I got was amazing. And people left some amazing comments that I'm very proud of. One of my greatest passions is to inspire people, if you haven't already known that or guessed that. Because by inspiring someone, it's a way of awakening their soul. For some people, it takes one video. For others, it could take a lifetime and 1,000 videos. Sadly, some people never get, um, the real meaning of life. They think the world is against them, and they live their life in fear. So, how do they get this way? How does it all start? Um, how can one person live a positive life full of amazing things? The most phenomenal life experiences, develop the most positive, fulfilling relationships one can imagine. And then on the other side of that same coin, have a person who's completely the opposite, where bad things seem to happen over and over again. Almost anything they experience is negative, from their personal relationships to their love life to the people they work with. Just one big negative life. How does that happen? Glad you asked. I'm going to answer it for you. First happens in your thoughts. We need to be very conscious of our thoughts. And if we find ourselves thinking negative, we need to change it up. Remember, just because you think something does not mean that you have to believe it. I think we all get caught up in this trap where, uh, we think about something and assume, oh, well, it must be. Personally, I think that a lot of suffering comes from our attachment to things. There is nothing wrong with nice things, car, house, job, money. The problem is in our attachment of them. When we have something, there will always be another thing to replace it. If we can remember very quickly that we come into this world with nothing, no things, and we leave with nothing, no things, all we have is our experiences, the people that we meet, um, the relationships we build, the memories we share, the people's lives that we touch. Um, Basically, the only thing we really own, and frankly have the right to own, in my opinion, my humble opinion, are our thoughts. Why in the hell would you ever want to use those thoughts to think negative? Like, for the life of me, I can't figure that out. People very often think negative thoughts without even realizing it. Ever heard the saying, getting lost in your head? It's like getting lost when driving. Have you ever started daydreaming when you're driving and realize, that you missed the exit, you passed the street, or maybe you even passed your house? I've done that before. But anyway, for most of us, it's a habit. And that is because our minds seem to be already made up. We may think, oh, the way the world operates is just wrong. It's not fair. So and so has it better than I do. She's just lucky. Come on. We all do it at times. So it's either our minds are made up or our minds have been made up for us, like copycats. My dad said that Bush is an idiot, or my mom said Obama's a terrorist, or my teacher said this, and little Johnny said that, and Jon Stewart said this, and Sarah Palin said she can see Russia from her house. Blah, 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 blah. By the way, Palin never said that uh, she could see Russia from her house. She said from a certain point in Alaska, you can see Russian land. Tina Fey actually impersonated Palin on SNL. She's the one who uttered, I can see Russia from my house, if you remember that. Who cares? Well, you should. That's my point. We don't even know who said it, But most people think Palin said it. Like it or not, it's a form of control and manipulation. We're programmed to think a certain way, be a certain somebody. And I'm here to tell you that if you want to be a pre programmed dummy walking around going through the motions of life, not really thinking for yourself, that's fine. I doubt most people want to be just like all the other sheeple. I know I don't. Listen, we're all faced with choices in life. The question we need to ask ourselves is, are we any of the following? Fear minded, anxiety driven, scarcity minded? Do we allow anger, hurt, fear, resentment to rule our minds? Do we dig in and fight all the time, causing ourselves great stress, even for a good cause, like, say, a paycheck? All of these mental states that I mentioned involve a choice on our part. It's not simple to make a choice, and unfortunately, sometimes work is needed through therapy to unravel those negative root beliefs. But I'm here to tell you from experience that it is possible to free ourselves from fearful and angry thoughts and to embrace thoughts based on a positive outcome, a nurturing outcome, one with a unique connection. Some of the smartest people I've known, people with highly developed minds, ones of great analytical ability, have struggled with finding happiness and meaning. It's almost like they see their purpose as their job, just because they are great at it. The problem with being defined by your work or your job is, I think Wayne Dyer said this, if you are what you do, then when you don't, you aren't. You meet someone out. What's the first question you ask them or they ask you? Seriously, think about that. Besides their name, of course. What do you do? And once again, we all are guilty of it. I'm not lecturing or being professorial in any way. I catch myself all the time. It's called the human ego and healthy natural competition. It's why, if you follow a woman's eyes, when another beautiful woman walks in a room, they go like this, checking out every aspect of her. That's normal part of life. What isn't normal is defining yourself by what you do. Nobody at the end of their life, laying in their deathbed, ever wish they would have worked harder. They probably wish they would have spent more quality time with the people they care about and love, or maybe wishing they would have told someone how they felt about them before they're down to those last moments. This is why. This is why we need to stop wasting time in our heads, thinking negatively and contemplating every single decision we make, looking for that reason not to be the best version of ourselves that we can be, that we were meant to be, really. For myself, I got tired of hearing the P word. That's right, potential. Does anybody else hear that word? I heard it all the time, my whole life. You see, too many people today seem to be very black and white type of thinkers with very little possibility for gray or any other color for that matter. When you're a person who is quick to decide what is good and what is bad, you leave very little room for mystery and discovery. Embracing elements like mystery and discovery, in my mind, is so important and necessary because it slows us down just long enough to feel meaning. It takes us away from a world full of canned responses and cliches. If we're lucky, it may even help us to shift our paradigm. Let me give you an example. Let's say there's a lady at work, and she works in an office building, and she's noticed recently that there are people, that are snickering, and every time she walks in a room, they get really quiet, and they glance at her, and then look away, and there's nothing she can do to really stop that. And she notices it. It carries over into her home life. So now she's at home. She's in a bad mood all the time. She's miserable. She thinks she's going to get fired. Another week goes by. We're in the third week now. She finally gets to work. She sees nobody there at work. Realizes that, oh my God, I'm getting fired. Today's the day. She walks in the conference room and all she hears is, surprise. She realizes that it's a birthday party for her. People have been planning a birthday party for her for all those weeks. See, she was thinking the wrong thing. She was too much in her head, thinking negatively. The world and life is tough enough. Why give it extra fuel? How many times do we misinterpret the things we see and hear in our own lives? How often do we stack the cards against ourselves through our interpretation of events, robbing ourselves of what can be meaningful, all in the name of fear? Think about that. Very important. I know sometimes it's easy to believe the mind's condemnations. However, by doing so, we put ourselves into a far deeper hell than our true reality could have possibly ever put us in. lost in our heads again, right? What we should do is look at this as an opportunity to question our disappointment or pain or resentment, which, by the way, is a bad, bad, bad word. And this is our opportunity to stop assuming that what we think is the truth. Most of us are good people. No, great people. Most of us are great people at our core. To prove this, you can use whatever religion or spiritual belief that fits. But we know we are good. We know we would help those people that we love and care about in any way we possibly could. Heck, a lot of us would even help a stranger. We come from good, and sometimes we just need to be reminded of who we really are. Talk about changing your thoughts. I look at people as good, and when they do something bad, I choose to look at them as a good person that did a bad thing. Some of us use a diary or journal, um, which can be a great place to store and visit our innermost thoughts. Um, this is usually very therapeutic and just what we need to remind us. But be careful because we can also use that journal to whine and gather unhealthy thoughts. I mostly choose to write positive thoughts in my journal. You may not. It's up to you. Be careful who you surround yourself with. There's a saying that states you are most like the 5 people you hang out with the most. Remember, some people are toxic and are better kept at a distance. I've had to learn this the hard way, as I'm sure you have as well, but I am so much better for it. We can avoid all the dramas. It too is a choice. And I know this is really hard, but try not to be judgmental. It's a bad quality and a terrible habit, but like any habit, it can be broken. I challenge you to start your mental shift. Remember to use the power of your mind. It is our choice whether we distort meaning or create meaning. It's an unending choice because that's just the way our brains work. We are human after all. I think a good place to start is with gratitude. To draw on gratitude is to feel grace filling one's heart, overflowing into the bloodstream. You know, that rush of energy that we have all felt, better known as our emotions. And yes, you can feel them if you know how to tune into them. You don't have to create them, they're there, just have to tune into them. It's difficult at first, but mastering one's emotions is crucial to overall long term happiness, in my opinion. Emotions are the best, most sensual, spiritual way to communicate without words. Emotions are simply an energy that becomes a mood, then an action, and finally, when it becomes a habit, it becomes a way of life. It has the ability to turn the pain of thinking into the joy of being. When you're expressing your gratitude, start with simple thoughts like, I'm grateful that I'm alive. I'm grateful that I'm healthy. I'm grateful I have 10 fingers and 10 toes. If you do, of course. Um, I'm grateful for my friends and family, and so on and so on. Don't be afraid to get specific either. And then feel the thought, be the thought. It may not feel natural at first, but trust me, if you stay at it, it will. Once you get the hang of it, you will be so focused, so locked in, that it'll feel like a dream, kind of like an alternate reality where time stops and you become aware, just aware. So, in closing, remember, you first need to find the wisdom to champion the side of yourself that moves you toward and fuels your passions and desires, not the side that keeps you fearful, limited, and stuck. How much time is wasted in choosing to remain paralyzed, or negative, or disconnected from meaning? Too much. How many precious hours in our life or your life have we all wasted worrying, being full of anxiety and sure, so sure that a situation is as we perceive it, only to find out we were wrong? Think of all that wasted time that could have been spent anxiety free, full of gratitude, experiencing and creating amazing things in our life. When we stop reacting, we actually have time to choose our responses. The emotional space between us and our world allows us to recognize meaning in everything. Imagine that. Thanks for watching, and good luck.